Coming up this week, off-screen.
Judi Dench gets shade from Red Joan.
Chloe Moretz tangles with Greta.
Andrew Scott enters Steel Country.
Silvio Berlusconi faces Loro.
And Mel Gibson gets dragged across concrete.
All those to come and more, off-screen.
This is Off-Screen. Off-Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off-Screen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
Welcome to Off-Screen, I'm Van Connor.
And I am Case Allen.
So, Mr. Allen, welcome back.
Yeah,
Good to be back. Some fun this week.
Yeah, I wasn't here last week. What was I doing? I was doing a thing. I forgot what it was.
I think there was a work commitment. I think
we couldn't get our schedules to
we just
line
didn't
up.
align. And
No.
it was all
Sometimes we don't.
Hellboy's fault. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That damn Hellboy.
The Blood Queen or whatever. Is that...
That's who the villain is, yeah.
the
I think
Blood
they do
Queen.
refer to her by her actual name, though, for most of it.
Which is...
I forget. Because
like...
you forget a lot
Alice,
about that movie.
or-
Something like that,
Yeah.
yeah. But...
How weird if I went to Alice for Mila Jovovich. Very
I
odd.
know, it's so weird. But I think it might actually be. That's the... Oh, no, tell a lie. The psychic character that Sacha Lane plays, she's named Alice.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so that's why.
Psychics.
Anyway, so usual fun to come this week. It's a little bit... I did think this week was going to be something of a dumping ground.
Because we've got a big film coming out next week.
Yeah. It turns out the dumping ground is more or less entirely everything around the big film next week. So you're going to see some strange ones, including there's one in there that's supposed to be very good. I don't know why it's being dumped there, but
here we are.
here we are. Anyway, so it turns out, well, this week we've got a couple that I do think are up to snuff. Two, in fact, one that I think is excellent. Good fun.
Right, okay.
So
I feel like I know what that's going to be before you even talk about it, but I will wait.
You've seen my social feeds, so you probably have a vague idea because I've harped on about it enough in the last
That's
sort
true.
of week. In the meanwhile, though, before we get to the reviews of those films, before we get to box office top 5 and all the film news, we need a good, solid piece of film news to start the ball rolling. What do you got?
There was a big thing in Chicago. Do you know about that city?
That's Obama's home.
Obama's, yeah.
Okay.
4 more years.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, like fans of a certain popular space-based franchise that's not Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica. The other big one.
I love that you say that. Battlestar Galactica was literally an attempt to rip off Star Wars.
I know.
Like, they never even made a secret of that. Ooh,
Absolutely.
speaking of things we're not making a secret of in the entertainment world, there's a belter one we're going to talk about later involving Disney. In the meanwhile, though, so Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, we'll get to this Disney news, or we'll get to that Disney news.
Yeah.
We had Star Wars Celebration Day or event or whatever it is.
And that's become an event in recent years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's become its own branded Comic-Con. It's the Star Wars
Comic-Con, yeah, because they don't go to Comic-Con to release things, they just have their own thing. Because they're their own giant brand, why not?
They're pretty decent in stature, I would say.
I would say so, yeah.
And so
they're getting there.
What did they unveil for us this year, Mr.
They
Allen?
unveiled the title and teaser trailer for Episode 9.
Which is now officially entitled what exactly?
The Rise of Skywalker.
Now that intrigues me. You asked me what I thought of it when I arrived earlier. And
Yeah.
my response was it sounds like a Timothy Zahn novel that you used to find
Yeah,
in that pokey branch of W.H. Smith when you were at an airport on the last minute before the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we had to wait, 15 years between Star Wars films.
Yeah. Back in 94, when there was no mention that we were ever going to get a
Yeah, never
prequel
one.
trilogy. Back in those dark days.
Yeah, absolutely. How old were you in 1994?
11.
I was a boy of 5.
You're a boy of 5. Yeah, I remember.
I just watched Lion King. Times were great.
Wouldn't believe what nerddom was like in 1994. We only had Forbidden Planet in Sheffield. Only.
Oh, God.
That was it. And it was exactly where it is now.
So that Forbidden Planet, this is a tangent, that Forbidden Planet has been there since the early 90s.
Oh, yeah.
That is...
I know. I'm sure it probably goes back further. We'll ask Colin Yates. I'm sure he could tell us it goes back to 1986 or something. But yeah.
Preeminent Forbidden Planet historian, Colin Yates.
Yeah. But he is our resident comic historian, as it were, isn't he? So anyway,
Rise of Skywalker, what does that mean? Nobody knows.
We both subscribe to that theory, I think, though, that it refers to
we think
that next generation.
The next generation of Jedis will not be known as Jedis, will be known as Skywalkers.
So like Daywalkers, Skywalkers.
Yeah. Which is cool, and if that is what it is, awesome.
And that little boy with the broom in the stable at the end of Last Jedi grows up to become Jake Lloyd, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway. Who grew up to have a criminal record for drink driving.
Weird. Him and Haley Joel Osment both. That is so weird.
Haley Joel Osment is tied it up, I believe.
Yeah. It's so weird that specifically late 90s child actors. Anyway, so that's December 19th this year, I believe, is the dates.
Yeah, and in some tangential news, they said we're going to have a bit of a break from the Star Wars films to kind of plot what we're going to be doing next, because Solo happened, so they now know to take a bit of time.
And also, it's not like the brand's going away now, because Disney Plus will be here before Rise of Skywalker is here.
Yeah, and with it comes The Mandalorian, which sounds awesome.
Also, one thing I'm very much looking forward to when that Disney streaming platform arrives, I believe we will finally have found a home, once and for all, for the long-lost 100-episode-long animated comedy series, Star Wars Detours, created by Seth Green and the other dude from Robot Chicken. There is actually a trailer.
Knows his name.
There's a sizzle reel for it on YouTube, and it's brilliant. And they made it with Lucasfilm and under George Lucas's tenure, and it just never got released. It got put on a shelf, never to see the light of day. Also, I believe they are having a final series of Clone Wars that's exclusive to Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yeah. So there's so much.
Yeah.
What's going on there? One last thing about Disney Plus as well, this is not Star Wars related.
No.
Have you heard about The World According to Jeff Goldblum?
I have heard of The World According to Jeff Goldblum. I thought of you immediately. Take us through this. What is this, real quick?
I don't know that much about it, apart from the general premise, which is just him just going around the world, just exploring natural wonders and stuff.
That is exactly it.
And being Jeff.
Yeah, that is exactly it. I believe Calvin, in his article on it, said, will immediately become the most memeable TV show ever created.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely true. I can't wait. I will watch the
It's going to be him going up to a Tibetan monk and being like, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Which I will watch on a loop.
comes to a long broken jungle canyon rope bridge and says to himself, life finds a way.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. A filmic review.
Filmic review. Okay, so let's talk really quickly then about... I say really quickly, we've got the perfect amount of time for this. I don't know why I just instinct to saying let's talk really quickly
let's
about...
have a cup of tea, let's have a rest.
Have I ever talked about anything really quickly? I don't think it's ever happened.
Yes, sometimes.
Oh.
Like, if we don't have a lot of time to get through a thing, we'll just be like, this film, she's in it, she's really good, next one.
Right, so Red Joan, new movie from Trevor Nunn, is the story of Joan Stanley, played by Judi Dench. And the story, we are told, is based on a true story. And I know this because I saw this in a screening filled with much older people, and the minute it appeared based on a true story at the beginning of the film, every single one of them in unison said, oh, it's based on a true story. So, just to give you a vague idea.
To be all like harmonised.
They kind of did. Did. Right, so she is exposed, she is arrested, questioned, and, early on exposed, and it's basically a case of explaining how, as being the KGB's longest-serving spy in Britain. Okay. So Judi Dench is her in relatively the present day. I think it's meant to be the early 2000s, meant to be about 2004, 2005. She's got Ben Miles from Coupling? I cannot remember for the life of me.
Yeah, and
Ben Miles, Patrick from Coupling.
He's in The Crown as well.
Yes. Yep. Ben Miles is her son, who's also a solicitor. He's helping her out in this interrogation, in which we are shown in flashback form, when she is played by Sophie Cookson, how she went to Cambridge, became a pioneer, became sort of a trailblazing woman in the physics community, and she was co-opted to basically assist in war efforts during which she would start to filter nuclear secrets out to the Russians. Here's a clip.
You've no idea what it was like. War after war after war, all the dead, the grieving, the heartbreak. We were saturated with it. I would have done anything to stop that happening again. It wasn't about communism or fascism.
They were using you and you still don't see it.
Who was using who? All right, I was a shadow in a man's world, invisible, but in the end, powerful.
Betraying your own country. God, I'm ashamed of you.
I loved my country. All right, I was frightened out of my wits most of the time, but I knew I had to do it. I knew I had to carry on. Why can't you understand? Use your heart for once, Nick, instead of your head.
So Judi Dench and Ben Miles there. Now, literally the last line of dialogue in that clip is systemic of a problem. It sort of exemplifies a systemic problem at the core of Red Joan. She says they use your heart instead of your head. And it's things like that do suggest that there was at some stage some quite clearly meant to be more depth and texture to this. That remark doesn't seem to really typify anything about that character. There's maybe a moment later in the film, like a single moment that happens to all characters in these things that you think, okay, I knew that was going to happen anyway. Hang on, is that what that weird line of dialogue was meant to be about? In which case, poor writing, you phone that in, do better next time. It's a film of two halves, and this is something I get to say twice this week. It is a film of two halves in that you've got the stuff that's set in the present day with Judi Dench, you've got the stuff that's set in the period setting, goes from about like 1940 through to about like 1948, say. Okay. And what specifically actually to 1945 or 46, and that's the Sophie Cookson portion. And the problem is the film can't seem to decide which of those two it wants to prioritise, so it keeps shifting the focus to such a degree that it doesn't have an anchoring point. When you have these kind of cutaway stories, one of them needs to be the anchor. You know what I mean?
There was a similar thing with a Helen Mirren film a few years ago.
Was that The Debt?
Do you know what? Similar thing with two Helen Mirren films.
Oh,
it's like that is so bizarre.
You mean the thing you want, the
painting one?
The Ryan Reynolds
Woman in Gold.
Woman in Gold. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly the same problem here. It can't seem to prioritise which of those two films it wants to do.
You find them both like almost equally interesting. But as it gets on...
But neither is the primary and neither informs the other in that way.
Yeah, because you don't seem to complement each other that well.
Exactly. Yeah. It is relatively blandly written. It is, as I say, relatively depth-free. It's textureless. It would feel like something that you would see on a Thursday night on ITV and still consider wanting. It does. There are times when you see the Sophie Cookson portion and you think this feels like something Keira Knightley turned down in 2005 that, runners just found on a shelf and thought, why don't we dust that off?
Yeah, like she just done Atonement.
You were going to do Keira and Helen as the young and old versions. Oh, okay, that's cute. We'll see what we can do. It feels like one of those. And the thing is as well, it's very drippy. It is insanely drippy. And I say that in full knowledge of the fact that Tom Hughes in this movie plays the sort of manic pixie dream boy communist love interest who disappears and reappears whenever he wants help for the cause. And Tom Hughes seems to genuinely be playing this as Eddie Izzard's impersonation of James Mason.
Which is great. Can we get a clip of that really quickly?
I think so. Here is Eddie Izzard's James Mason.
And I shall be played by James Mason in the film.
And it is exactly like that. Imagine that seducing a young woman at Cambridge, and you've kind of got this movie. I didn't really warm to it. The story was interesting enough to keep me, basically paying attention. I wasn't bored by it, but I did feel it was bland. I felt it was sort of tension free. It didn't do an awful lot for me.
Who is this a film for? Who would you say is like the key audience?
I would say it is for I think for the older audience. I think. Especially judging by the screening I was in, I think that older crowds do tend to warm to it.
Well, it's by Trevor Nunn, who is an esteemed playwright.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. That's all I really know about him. He's very well thought of. But he's not done that much in terms of directing film.
In terms of he seems to have directed more for television.
Yeah.
And you do feel, like I say about the ITV comparison, you do feel like this is a very sort of drippy, flavour-free kind of an ITV drama.
Yeah.
And that's... Came away from it just feeling I didn't really think there was a theatrical venture in there. I didn't think even if you'd gotten Keira and Helen in it once upon a time, it wouldn't have happened. That didn't necessarily happen, by the way. I'm making that up.
But, you're making me wish that it happened.
But yeah, I think older crowds will get on with it because it is a rousing enough true story, but it's more like Tinker, Lamer, Soldier Spy than anything else.
Oh, you're so proud of yourself.
I came up with that off the cuff.
Oh, no way.
Off the cuff, baby.
You've been workshopping that for weeks.
I've been getting to bed around 2:30. Anyway, next review.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. And, from the relatively dulcet confines of Red Joan, let's go to somewhere a little wackier next, if you'd indulge me. Shall we? Berlusconi in Italy. How do you feel about that?
Berlusconi in Italy?
Berlusconi in Italy, I'm saying.
And or in?
An. Berlusconian, as in Edwardian.
Oh, right.
Right,
okay.
Berlusconian.
I thought you were just like Berlusconi in Italy. I was like, surely that's where you would find him.
Typically you would, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm kind of fine with it, I guess. Yeah.
So, Loro, or Loro 1, or Loro 1/Loro 2, or Loro 1/2, as you would call it. I'm going to explain that in a minute.
Is this the start of the franchise?
Aha! I wondered that too. Okay, so this is a new film from Paolo Sorrentino, whose name you would, of course, be familiar with.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remember a couple of years ago, is it Sorrentino?
Didn't he do that really good documentary?
He did This Must Be the Place, he did Youth, The New Pope he famously directed.
Yes,
Is that Jude Law?
Jude Law, yeah.
That's Jude Law.
And that is The Young Pope, and then the new series is going to be called The New Pope. And the new Pope is John Malkovich.
The new Pope is John Malkovich. Well, that's a hell of a progression. Okay, so, he's got something of a pedigree of doing, let's just say, artistically lensed properties.
Yeah, very Italian films.
Very Italian. Literally, he again, to quote Eddie Izzard, is the man on the moped saying, ciao.
Ciao.
Hold for clip. Ciao. Yeah, so Paolo Sorrentino had decided to drop on us a couple of years ago that, you know what, I'm going to make a movie about Berlusconi. And we all thought to ourselves, sure you are, Paolo, sure you are. Good luck with that. It turns out the bugger only went away and actually did it. What he did, instead of just making a film about Berlusconi, though, was to make 2 films about Berlusconi. Why he did this... So
that's why this... All right,
yeah.
Okay.
Why he did this, I can't tell you. But it is called Loro 1 and Loro 2. The first movie basically serves as a sort of Death of Stalin type satire about men who sort of work in the corners around Berlusconi, who are trying to creep into his social circle. And it's you can see on the.
I've just found the documentary.
Is it The Great Beauty?
Great Beauty, yeah.
Oh, of course, I don't want to.
I've completely forgotten about that.
This first movie seems to centre around Riccardo Scamarcio, who you might remember as the antagonist from John Wick 2.
I do. I like him a lot.
Yes, you like him a lot. Yeah, I keep calling him Martin Sokas for some reason, but they are about 20 years apart in age, I would guess. Anyway, you've got Riccardo Scamarcio as a sort of ringleader of young, desirable ladies, I would say. He runs something of a harem, let's put it that way, and he's trying to ingratiate himself with Berlusconi's social circle to get as close to the throne as possible. You also then have Loro 2, which is the story of Berlusconi himself, in which he's played by Tony Servillo in what can only be described as the most OTT gurning cheese grater of a performance you can possibly imagine as Silvio Berlusconi. Don't get me wrong, I have no doubt that every single line he comes out with could very well be something Berlusconi is on record as saying.
He looks very well cast.
But yes, we've not got a clip because obviously it is all in Italian. It is all in Italia, as it is. Il Italia? I can't remember. What is it? Which one?
I mean, whichever. Yeah.
Anyway.
As someone who is not well versed in Italian, here is a clip of just some like really offensive Italian music or Dean Martin singing.
I will say I did get to revisit and confirm a lot of curse words from The Sopranos because of this movie, because it is very foul.
That is the only Italian I know.
Yeah, most of us only know certain words from The Sopranos.
Fafagul.
Like the boat being named Stugats and things like that. We know things like that, and it's nice to have them confirmed in a quite foul-mouthed movie with subtitles. Right, so I will say I very much enjoyed Riccardo Scamarcio's performance as Sergio in the first half of this. Cassius Muniak as well as Kira, Eurydice Axon as Tamara. I thought the 3 of them really great performances, but they are at the centre of what is really the first film, the first half of this, which is one film on its own. And you're looking like you might know her from somewhere. I had that with both actresses.
From Paris with Love.
That Travolta action.
Oh, I've just remembered that.
Yeah?
Oh, dear.
We're going to Paris, baby. I love that movie so much. It was terrible. But anyway, the first half of the film I think is great. I think it works as a sort of Death of Stalin by way of Berlusconian Wolf of Wall Street kind of a tale. I have all the time in the world for that. I think the second half, though, doesn't quite work as well. I think the performance is as satirical and as wacky as the first half of the movie is. But the actual film that the second half is a lot more straight-faced, a lot more serious, and a lot more introspective, and the two don't gel. I think Tony Sevilla's performance simply exists on a different level or a different tonal level to what the rest of the film is. And that, for me, I thought was a disappointment because, very obviously, Sorrentino is in his element in that first half when it's going Wolf of Wall Street, when it's going like the rave scene from John Wick. It's a lot like that. I had all the time in the world for that, but it really let me down the second half. I was quite disappointed. So, over to you for some news then, Mr. Allen. What have you got for me today?
I've got some news. I've got loads of news, actually.
Okay.
What news to first? Oh, this I thought was interesting because we were just talking about her, I guess.
Yep.
So, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who is of the Fleabag.
Fleabag,
the Killing Eves.
Is she on Killing Eve as well?
She created.
Oh, she did. Yes, tell her lie.
I mean, she was the showrunner for the first series.
Ah, right, okay.
Not the second, not going to be the third. She, who is Ace, she has been brought in to kind of punch up the script for Bond 25, which, that'll be like 25 people that have come on.
Yeah, it will. Yeah. It will. I mean, and if Hellboy taught us anything, it's that too many cooks in no way spoil the broth.
I don't think we compare Hellboy to James Bond.
Hey, they're both equally beloved institutions to me.
To you.
Child of the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. I am all for that. That's Ace. Kerry, what's his face?
Fukunaga?
I'm always scared to say
Fukunaga.
I'm always scared to say his surname because I don't want to either get it wrong or just sound like I'm swearing.
Really? Okay, try pronouncing the surname of the writer of Wonder Woman sometimes. Yeah, you get on.
Yeah, let's not. Let's not do that. He's still there. Ryan Malek is pretty much confirmed at this point to be the bad guy, which, fair enough.
I think that's it. If you're going to go anywhere from
you get the most recent Oscar winner.
Yeah,
that tends to be the thing.
That kind of is a Bond staple, isn't it, to go and get an Oscar winner?
Yeah.
To just go and get someone who's won an Oscar in the last 2 or 3
years. Yeah.
Does seem
Christoph
to be.
Waltz, Javier Bardem, that's what we've done for the last few, so that would make sense, and it's still going to be Daniel Craig's last one. Apparently Daniel Craig requested Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Well,
so, have you watched Killing Eve?
I have not watched Killing Eve yet. I have got to watch.
After watching Killing Eve, it just completely makes sense.
Okay, I'll look forward to it. Yeah. So, one more review then before we cut to the bridge.
Okay.
Let's talk then really quickly, which is ironic given the film we're talking about Dragged Across Concrete.
Great title.
Third installment, third film venture for S. Craig Zala, who brought us Bone Tomahawk, which I loved, who brought us Brawl in Cell Block 99, which I loved, and has now brought us this, which I did not love.
I do not love.
I do not love. So this stars Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn as two cops who are cited, they're old school, racist, xenophobic cops. They consider themselves to be realists, They are the sane voices in a world that's just gone hippy-dippy, political correctness, gone mad, and what next? They're part of the what next brigade.
Yeah.
Those guys.
So you get Mel Gibson.
We're going to get to that. Anyway, so they are suspended from duty one day for excessive force when they're caught on camera being a bit too rough with an African-American suspect, or Hispanic, I can't quite remember which one it is in the early stages. They do offend everybody by the end of the film. Don't worry, they do get there. They are suspended, and they decide, since they're being cast out to the wind, that, it's their turn to make a buck with the skills they have acquired. Rather like that movie Triple Frontier recently. Same kind of ethos.
Yeah. We're skilled at this now. Yeah. Let's go do it for ourselves.
We would get paid a lot for this. Let's get paid for it.
I've still not watched it. I should watch it soon.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I'm off for the next couple of weeks. So I might do that.
Here's a clip of something that's worse.
There's been opportunities before, more than a few. Take a bribe, pocket a bundle, pilfer cash. I was a cop on active duty. Today I'm a poor civilian who's nearly 60. I can accept that, but I'm not going to ask my wife and daughter to. If you put all our collars together, every imbecile we ever nabbed, it'd probably fill 2 entire wings of the state prison, maybe 3. We have the skills and the right to acquire proper compensation.
The first imposing thing about this, of course, is the runtime, which clocks in at a frankly,
yeah, I've just seen it.
Staggering 2 hours and 39 minutes. You'll also notice on the IMDb page right next to them, wow, yours is set to R rating and mine says 18. That is strange.
Strange, yeah.
Anyway,
an American IMDb.
Clearly. With those 2 hours and 39 minutes comes an R rating that they really do earn. And if you've seen Bone Tomahawk and Brawl and Cell Block 99, you know exactly how big a fan S. Craig Zoller is of that rating. And yes, it's something they do work for here. The only problem is this is one of those films that does feel like there was a tight 40. There's a tight hour and 40 in there. And there is a lot of middle distance gazing. And I do mean a lot. The entire difference in runtime between that hour and 40 minutes and near 2 hours and 40 minutes that we actually wind up with really is, I just want to stare into the middle distance mid-sentence, and then when I end the sentence, please indulge me another minute. It is that lather, rinse, repeat. When it really decides to go for the sort of would-be Heat-like structure that it wants, it does so at the sort of involvement of Tory Kittles and Michael Jai White as a sort of, so it does have that sort of Den of Thieves kind of element to it as well, because obviously it wants to be Heat, but it's too dull and it's too viscerally gleeful.
That's got a pretty decent cast.
Yeah, it does land closer to something like Den of Thieves. And yes, about the cast, there is a good cast in there, but they are largely quite wasted in small, rather insignificant small insignificant roles. Fred Malamed, Don Johnson, Udo Kier, Jennifer Carpenter, Laurie Holden, Thomas Kretschmann, even
from Age of Ultron.
Baron von Strucker. I mean, Michael Jai White, I'd argue, comes off quite well for a change, which is nice. Also nice to see him in a role that doesn't involve...
He's Black Dynamite.
Yeah. It doesn't involve a fight scene as well, this role. It is genuinely an acting
weird.
part.
Yeah.
And he's very good in it. Tory Kittles I quite liked as well. I did think Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson put in really good portrayals. There has been some controversy about the politics of the film. Zala himself has had to come out and say, look, I did not intend any kind of political statement with this movie. I will argue, though, that when you go and get Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson to be the guys saying the things he does in this, whether you mean it to or not, that is making a political statement.
Off, yeah.
It comes off that way. I'm sorry, but it is... I know it's unintended, maybe, but when you get that combination of elements, it comes out that way. And believe me, there are some things we get to see Mel Gibson do in this movie that you genuinely stare at, mouth ajar, wondering how...
You just think, oh, that's a Thursday night.
You do think, like, why would you in any way think it would be okay to get Mel Gibson to do this? The film works because it's nasty, and that nastiness works for it. But
maybe it would have been better to get someone who are not used to seeing those kind of things or haven't got that public persona.
It does feel like it would have been better as a transformational part for an actor who doesn't normally do this kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to...
if you got some, like, I don't know, like a John C. Reilly. Just someone completely...
Good Lord, you give me a John C. Reilly version of this.
That'd be... See?
But yes,
I've improved your film.
You really have. And also Mel Gibson, Holmes and Watson, I just feel like that would have improved that.
Yeah, they do like a job swap for a day.
Yeah. But so dragged across concrete. I can never say that successfully in one go. Dragged across concrete.
Still a good title, but yeah, the film...
Good title, film, a little bit less so.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, before we crack on with more news and another review, shall we go really quickly to the box office top 5 for this week, then?
Yeah, all right.
Number 5.
Hell Lad.
Hell Lad. Which sounds like it would be the DC Comics spin-off sidekick, doesn't it? Hellboy and Hell Lad.
Yeah, and like maybe like Lobo.
Yeah. Thank God Hellboy's Dark Horse. Anyway, so Hellboy is a disaster in the worst possible way. It is a meddled with, trifled with, just chaotic, just...
Is it a fun?
It is an eaten mess of a movie. To go with the trifling thing.
But like, instead of strawberry, it's like blood.
Yeah, exactly that. Let's say Ian McShane and David Harbour, I think, are a lot of fun in it. And there's stuff in there I do like. I like Stephen Graham as a Scouse pig monster. And
nice, I love Stephen Graham.
Yeah, and there's some tonal ideas in there. In particular, the first line McShane comes out with, that I just think that just sets a tone for a movie that I'm going to enjoy no matter what. The film is just god awful, though. There are those moments you will enjoy. There's stuff in there that I would like to see more of. There's like Hellboy fighting some giants at one stage. It tells you what they were aiming for. It never quite gets there though, and you feel like it wasn't going to get there anyway. Really didn't help that it's clearly been hacked to the bone on them as well.
Yeah.
But
it's been severely edited.
It clearly has. So has anybody tweeted, and what have they said on the matter?
Yes, at Theo Gunderated says, I don't care what anyone thinks. This is all in capital letters.
Okay.
The new Hellboy, in bold, movie is wonderful.
Number 4.
Wonder Park.
Which I enjoyed, actually. Didn't expect it.
John Oliver's in it, so...
John Oliver is in it. Now, that was the thing. That had me wondering, like, why is John Oliver in this movie?
Yeah, there's got to be a reason.
There's got to be, because, like, you'd agree with me, not really a paycheck guy, is he?
Not really.
Not really. You know, he's not going to turn up. He's not necessarily...
Doesn't need it.
Yeah, he's not going to turn up in some direct... You think this guy turned down Smurf sequels? You know what I mean? He ain't a paycheck guy. But, anyway, so it does have a little bit of wonder to it. It does have a little bit of heart to it. It's animated to about Despicable Me level of sort of artistic.
So enjoyable enough for kids.
Enjoyable enough. I think it's not going to particularly tax parents, as it were.
Which studio is it?
It's, I think it's a no-name studio that's then been distributed, I think, through Paramount.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, there is that. But I did say who were. The cast I thought were quite fun, like Mila Kunis and Matthew Broderick, Jennifer Garner and John Oliver, obviously.
Decent people, yeah.
Yeah, it worked. I didn't like having, Kenan Thompson and the other guy removed for the sake of 2 British YouTubers. But...
have you done that? I hate when they do that.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah.
Like in one of the Cars films.
Yeah.
Do Americans get Jay Leno? Is it?
Was it Jay Leno? I thought it was Jeremy Piven.
Oh, was it Piven?
Was it Piven?
Or we got Clarkson.
Did we got? Yeah, I know we got Clarkson.
Everyone gets to Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was Piven, but if I said Piven last week, am I wrong? Is it Jay Leno? Because that would make more sense.
I thought it was Jay Leno.
Huh.
But I could probably see it being someone like Piven. I definitely remember us getting Clarkson.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
But Kelly pointed out Jonathan Ross in Shrek 2.
Yes, I remember that.
Isn't it Andy Peters in Toy Story 2?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It is. There you go. It's a fine tradition of these things. Yeah, so, but, yeah, I liked it. I just didn't love it. Has anyone tweeted about it? What did they think?
Somebody has. At Scooby Cavalier.
Scooby Cavalier, I like
That's
it.
Great, I like that. For a second I thought it was Scooby Caviar, which I like equally as much. Went to see #Wonder Park this afternoon at Cineworld. And I did not have any children with me. All right.
It's a strange brag, but go nuts.
Weird flex, guy.
Go nuts.
That is odd. Okay, yeah, I was expecting more to that sentence.
I think I was, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Excelsior!
Captain Marvel.
Which I really enjoyed. I mean, I don't think it's amongst the top half of the best tier of the Marvel movies for me.
But we've got 22 now,
but,
so...
When you said there's 11 movies better than this out of 22, that's
all right.
It's a pretty wealthy canon, I would say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
Very decent 3-star origin story film.
Exactly. There we are. Does anything else need to be said?
I don't think so. Let's cue the music. Let's play some Hole.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's play a tweet.
Yes.
Who have we got?
We have got Megs. Megs, who in her name has got like a star, like a Captain Marvel styled star thing.
Oh, okay.
I feel like she's going to be a fan.
I feel like this might be positive. Yeah, go on.
So, I don't know what this means. Hang on. So Captain Marvel is extremely OP.
On point.
I feel like
You're younger than me.
I feel like I want to take a shower. I am younger than you, but I teach people much younger than me, which makes me feel much older. So technically, I'm about 65.
Yeah, but you have to occupationally be down with the kids.
And I'm a dad.
Yeah, exactly.
So, again, I'm way more adult than you are.
So, Captain Marvel's OP. Go on.
Strictly OP, but goddammit, is she the baddest? Can I say the...
B-I-T-C-H.
That's the one.
Yeah, we are.
B-H.
Yep, fair enough.
I've ever seen. No full stop, no capital letters, poor punctuation and grammar.
Number 2.
Shazam.
Which I really enjoyed. And
so I'm laughing at the tweet for this.
Oh, okay,
well,
okay.
We shall get to
I don't know offhandedly what this
is.
Shazam is the first DC movie I've end-to-end enjoyed. I think it's genuinely great. Yes. I'm hoping, actually, on the bank holiday this weekend to double bill the 2 Captain Marvels.
Oh, that would be great.
That's exactly what I'm going to try and do this weekend. And I liked it very much. I think Zach Levi's a lot of fun. I think Jack Dylan Grazer is great fun in it. And I do think he is our new Fred Savage and should be worshipped accordingly. accordingly. Mark Strong.
Was Fred Savage worshipped?
He should have been done. He should have been. What was the Wonder Years if not a 6-season-long worship?
Exactly.
Was it 6 seasons, maybe 4? Anyway.
Yeah.
But he ran alongside Doogie Howser. It was a difficult time.
It was, yeah.
Anyway, so also, who didn't love Danica McKellar? Damn. Anyway.
Jimon Honsu was great.
Yeah, Jimon Honsu is great. Yeah, he really is. And also, there's a...
If you make a comic book film, get Jimon Honsu. That's
to be the rules.
Yeah, because he was in Aquaman, he was in Captain Marvel. He's in
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
He's in Guardians.
But the key word here is fun. It is the most fun, I would argue, it is the most child-appropriate movie that DC films have made since they started.
Well, that being said, I think it has got some darkness to it.
It's got darkness to it, but I think because they've got the fun there as well, you'd feel comfortable watching this with a kid.
You would, yeah. There's some creature designs that I was a bit taken aback by, and I really liked them. I really enjoyed them.
So, who's tweeted? What did they say? I'm looking forward to this. Where you go?
Okay. At Matt Beerwagon.
Beerwagon, okay.
I was a big fan of Shazam.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Boom.
Can't say anything else.
Number 1.
Dumbo. Who saw that coming?
Kids' holiday, I guess. So,
yeah, there's loads of kids want to see Dan DeVito in a big circus hat.
By Tim Burton,
top hat.
Yeah. I quite liked Dumbo. I didn't think it was amazing or anything. I think like Greatest Showman cast a long shadow over circus movies, I think, as I said to you. And
that's our circus benchmark.
That's my circus benchmark, and I have to do the arm tilt as I do it. So literally do a tilting shadow as I go. It's a good job we do these things for audio. Anyway.
In podcast sections, we will name our top 5 circus films.
Oh, okay, I'll do that.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Like 3 of them are Tim Burton movies, so we're okay. Anyway, it's like Tim Burton movies, Greatest Showman, and Anyway, T.S. Spivet.
I'm not going to have a Greatest Showman in mind just as a point of principle.
Well, anyway, so I liked Dumbo. I thought it worked. I just really didn't think there was much dazzle to it. I think that's kind of what it missed. It lacked a little bit of heart and dazzle for me. It does feel like I think there was a rewrite that slimmed a lot of heart and material out of this. And it doesn't feel like they made that stuff and then cut it out. It feels like they wrote it and then cut it out. And I couldn't shake that feeling all the way through. It's notable that every female family member that I saw this with hates me now. But because they loved it. So, they loved it. My sister and the twins, they loved it.
Yeah.
So, I have to be the bad guy, unfortunately.
I have a feeling that I'm going to love it just because it hews a lot closer to like Edward Scissorhands, Big Fish kind of Tim Burton. And I'm in the bag for
it's
that.
a lot more restrained a Tim Burton than that, and that's kind of the problem with it. Has anyone tweeted? What do they think?
Yeah, at Tim Burton, he's just tweeted the lyrics to "Boys Don't Cry."
that sounds about right. Yeah.
At the JS Lewis says, "I just remembered that I saw Dumbo over the weekend. That is how utterly unremarkable and forgettable that movie is.
Good lord,
damning. That is wow.
Just for time reasons, can we just skip through to the review of Steel Country? Is that okay?
Okay.
Right, so there is a movie out, and I don't want to shortchange this. I just want to give it a good quick review. So this is a movie starring Andrew Scott.
Who is in Fleabag.
Funnily enough, yeah. So Andrew Scott is in this. This basically, I'm trying to think how I could describe this to you. It is an Irish-made film that is set in the US. It's set in like rural, small-town America. It follows a local bin man played by Andrew Scott with an American accent. He works alongside Brona Waugh who's also Irish, and he's from Hollyoaks, and he's playing here with an American accent. And there's a lot of this going on in the film. Yeah. So it's also the latest film from Simon Fellows, who is a director who has made many direct DVD things, including movies starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. And do you remember Malice in Wonderland?
Of course I do.
Which I think we all thought was a cheap mockbuster for the Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland, but actually was just the victim of...
Wasn't that something to do with Snoop Dogg?
I'm not sure. It had Danny Dyer in it as the Mad Hatter.
I'm thinking of a different Malice in Wonderland, but yes, I do know that one.
Yes, yeah. Malice in Wonderland had Danny Dyer as the Mad Hatter and Maggie Grace as Alice. Right, he directed that. Now...
Then I'm definitely watching this.
I know I'm watching the hell out of it too. Now, what he has done is to make what can only be described as what you'd get if Cormac McCarthy was hired to remake Forrest Gump. Cool. Right? So just imagine... the darkest, grimmest, grittiest human being alive had the chance in the space of a 400-page novel to re-envision Forrest Gump. Yeah. this is what he'd come out with. So, local bin man, who's, I believe is developmentally impaired, I think is the term, he is obsessed with the case of a young boy who he sees in a window of a house on his garbage route every week. And one day the boy goes missing. He's convinced that he was the last person to see him, and he starts to look into the case, despite being told, it's nothing to do with you, keep out of this. The boy is then found under suspicious circumstances, and the only person who seems to want to question everything is our intrepid hero, played by Andrew Scott. Here's a clip.
Hello, Tyler. His family's on my route. He waves at me every morning from his window. He wasn't there this morning.
The boy drowned. That's all there is to it.
Cops say he wandered off into the woods somewhere. He didn't. Not Tyler.
What are you trying to do? You trying to give your life some meaning? Or... He was an innocent little kid. Why didn't you call for an autopsy?
Healthy people can still drown.
Did you tell the police that?
Did you do it?
So, either Cormac McCarthy does Forrest Gump, or John Steinbeck does Gone Baby Gone. So, somewhere in the somewhere in the middle is Steel Country, which is actually called The Dark Place in its original title. I think it was released in the US under A Dark Place. Andrew Scott is very good in this, even though with his American accent, he does sound weirdly close to Giovanni Ribisi.
He does a little bit.
And he does look like he's filling a hole that was clearly intended for Casey Affleck at some point, because this really does seem like a Casey Affleck movie. But maybe that's just because Gone Baby Gone.
Cormac McCarthy, yeah.
I thought this was very good. I think it comes close to being a bit silly sometimes because of the production, the limitations of the production value. Yeah. It does sometimes also remind you of, when you're on the escalator on the underground, and you see those posters for an actor you really like who's now starring in a show from the author of, and you never see that show because you're always just a little bit afraid of their American accent. You'll never be able to take them seriously. It's that little bit of it's that, but it does overcome it, and what you actually do get is a very good movie. I think it is worth seeing. Just with accents as well, he himself has got such a strong Scottish accent. I know. It's odd when you hear him do something so distinct. He does it. It's done well. Yeah, I bet that he does. It's like when you hear Ewan McGregor doing... Do you know what I mean? Where he does an American accent. So you would watch The Island, where you literally get to see him do both. Yeah. I would say I would watch this if presented with. I would watch this again. I think it is a film that if you have a friend who's an Andrew Scott fan, for instance, they've never seen it, you put something. Oh, you got to watch this. It's actually not bad. And I quite enjoyed it. There's moments of ropiness, but the film is actually engaging enough to really power through. I do recommend it. I do think it's worth seeing. That was going to be the title of my autobiography. Moments of ropiness. Moments of ropiness. I like that. The Case Allen story.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
One last ride, Mr. Allen. So, we've saved what I think is the most interesting film of the week for last. This is a new film from the director of The Company of Wolves, Mona Lisa, We're No Angels, The Crying Game, Michael Collins, In Dreams, The Brave One, Byzantium.
Who's that?
Mr. Neil Jordan, yes. Yeah. And, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know it was a Neil Jordan film going on.
I didn't realise he was making a new one.
No, came up on screen, I was like, oh my
What was the last one he did? Was that Byzantium?
I think it was, the last proper film was Byzantium. He'd done a few episodes of The Borgias with Jeremy Irons, I believe. And he's come to us with this now, which, if you're in on a very specific gag, is a really, really great, solid, almost satirical thriller. If you're not in on that gag, it's probably a bit naff. Now, the gag in question is that Isabelle Huppert exists. And Isabelle Huppert is effectively the French Meryl Streep.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this
exactly.
To be true.
If you are in on that gag, this movie's terrific. If you're not in on that gag, brace yourself. Okay, so this follows Chloe Moretz as a, I would say, sort of college-age student. Maybe she's just graduated. She she is sharing a Tribeca loft with her slightly spoilt rich BFF, played by Micah Monroe, who still alive. Micah Monroe, yeah, cool. And one day she finds a handbag, an expensive handbag that's been left behind on the subway. She finds the ID inside, and she returns the bag when the lost property desk is shut. Returns the bag to its owner, a middle-aged French lady named Greta.
Isabelle Huppert type.
Isabelle Huppert type.
Yeah.
Who looks and moves and acts like Isabelle Huppert and even lives...
like Meryl Streep.
Yeah. And even lives in that exact cottage-like little New York side street house that you'd imagine Isabelle Huppert lives in. But brace yourself, because this Isabelle Huppert is psycho Isabelle Huppert. And she soon sets her mind single white female style on Chloe Moretz. Nice. Here's a clip.
Please. Jesus, what do you want from me?
I want to talk.
Then talk to your daughter.
I can't. She does not understand.
What? What doesn't she understand?
I'm lonely.
Greta, everybody's lonely. That does not mean that you get to follow people around and terrorize them.
Everybody needs a friend.
So, you said you love the creepy music.
I do.
Right, everything in there has been designed to be amped up to that level.
But it's very Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. So the whole movie is actually kind of generic in a sense. I mean, when you break it down, like, it's the same. You've seen this kind of story before. You've seen the single white female story.
Yeah.
It's only another spin of that dice. But this is, every director gets to do this. Sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just make a wheel that looks really, really nice and runs really well. And that's fine. You know what
I mean? It works for Ford.
It does. Yep. It does. So you know what I mean? Like you could very easily imagine Paul Verhoeven making a version of this movie that starred Sharon Stone and Lily James. Or something.
I feel like Paul Verhoeven did make a version of this story.
You know what I mean? Like the same exact kind of thing. You can imagine every different director's version of this, and Neil Jordan's is exactly as fun as you'd imagine Neil Jordan's is. Right, it is shot really damn well. It looks great. The music is great. Every single scene is
great.
Executed, framed, and performed in such a precise way that every single one of them could end with a character being literally pleasured or killed. Put it that way. And
both.
And frankly, either is possible.
Yeah.
Either is possible within this film. I had a whale of a time with it. Isabelle Huppert is so much fun as a psychopath that I just didn't even know where to begin.
You never really see her in that role. It's usually she's just like some spurned lady.
Oh, she's so good. So good. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's just some of the creepy little things. It's a 98-minute film. They throw the hammer down on this psycho thing, which, they're not holding back in the marketing. It's very obvious what the film is about. They throw the hammer down the psycho thing 25 minutes in. No reservations about it. It's just, this is what we're doing now.
She's nuts.
Yeah, it is a very straight 3-act kind of a psychodrama. Each kind of psychodrama is compacted into each of the acts. I had a great time. There's a wonderful little appearance for Stephen Rea in there because Crying Game, Yeah. And I just really enjoyed it. I had fun with Chloe Moretz. I thought Chloe Moretz was really well judged.
I feel like she's having not a bit of a renaissance because I don't think she's been around enough to.
I think she's starting to find what works for her.
Yeah, because you enjoyed the Miseducation of Cameron Post.
I did, yeah, and I think she's finding now.
I think that's just gone onto Netflix recently.
I think it has.
I will watch that soon, and she's going to be in The Addams Family.
She
we just talked about this morning.
Of course, every movie needs one of those things. One of those you'll never look at in the same way again. This has cookie cutters.
Nice.
You'll never look at in the same way.
the way that like Killing Joe had fried chicken.
Exactly the example I used as well. You'll never look at fried chicken the same way again. You will never look at cookie cutters the same way again. I had a whale of a time with it. I admit it is not a perfect movie, but it's a very enjoyable one. It is. I mean, it's a 4-star film from me. When I had to give this a rating, I gave it 4 stars. Not because it's an especially wonderful film, although I do think it's a very well made film, and I think Neil Jordan's having the time of his life, and that is so infectious as fun that it is a 4-star experience.
That's nice. He's been around for a while. No?
I mean, it's one of those movies that if you really stop to think about it, there's not one but 2 integral points in the movie where it is required that characters are able to get phone signals on the metro, on the New York subway. Which you and I have both been on the subway in NYC. You cannot. It's not physically possible.
It
doesn't happen. You can't even get on our Wi-Fi. It doesn't exist. Anyway, that's film of the week for me. That is absolutely hands down. Yeah, cut and shut, as you say.
Yeah,
film of the week.
Not Dragged Across Concrete.
No.
I
mean, because you could watch this twice in the amount of time it takes to watch Dragged Across Concrete. Literally.
Like that film is 20 minutes shorter than Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Which. Segue
is up for next week, isn't it? So of course, next week I wasn't going to bury the lead on that one. I was going to bury the lead actually because we've also got Bel Canto next week, which is that Ken Watanabe
and Julianne Moore. Not Julianne Less.
No, definitely never Julianne Less. I saw Gloria Bell recently, but
isn't that a remake?
That is a remake,
but it's made by the person that made it.
Yeah, pulling a Haneke as I call it.
Pulling a Haneke.
Pulling a Haneke. Do you know who was in my screening for that, by the way?
Michael Haneke? Michael Pitt on Funny Games.
That would be great, I will admit.
That would be awesome.
No, Graham Norton.
Oh.
But, because Julianne was on his show last week, so he was obviously seeing it ahead of that. I don't get the press rounds for that show for Graham Norton. They seem to promote movies that are out 3 months in advance.
We tend to Paul Rudd and Chris Hemsworth were on that same episode. I think. Obviously we've got a few weeks. Yeah.
Also next week, German animated film Spy Cat, which I will admit looks amusing. We've got British drama Pond Life next week.
When I think of German animation, I think of The Simpsons, when we get rid of Itchy and Scratchy.
Exactly. And also out next week, 8th Grade.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I can't believe we're finally getting it.
And it's been buried in Avengers Week.
Yeah.
So, yay.
I don't think that says anything about the quality of the film.
No, I just think it's a very odd release pattern.
Yeah.
But hoping for some of that episode 1 mummy hangover money that you used to get. You know when episode 1 was sold out, so you went and saw the mummy?
Mummy, yeah.
Yeah, that was why, and everyone thought that was just why the mummy made so much money.
Yeah, I think we're comparing the wrong films.
We really are. So yeah, all those to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, this has been Candy Store Production of a Movie Market. I've been Dan Connor.
I've been Kate Arn.
And we shall return.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Offscreen. For more movie news, reviews, and more, visit moviemarker.co.uk.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Podcast extras. Right, I've just typed in films about the circus into Google. Just to help us think of some of the best circus films that there are.
Yeah.
There's some really old ones, as you might.
I would imagine the circus has kind of always been prominent in movies, hasn't it?
The Greatest Show on Earth, which I believe won Best Picture on the Oscars.
Did it? Greatest Show on Earth?
I believe so. Water for Elephants, do you remember that?
Oh God, is that the Reese Witherspoon one?
Yeah.
Is it Reese Witherspoon?
And Christoph Waltz.
Good Lord.
I think it was the first big film he did after Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, of course. Yes, I remember now, yeah. Let's see. What else we got? Oh!
Somebody's my top 10 circus movies.
I think we've literally pulled up the same list.
I think we have.
No. I've got the 34 best circus movies.
34?
Yeah, including Freaks.
Yeah, Freaks with there. Fair enough. Freaks
one of us.
Yeah, it's got to there. Come on, that's amazing.
Oh, Chaplin's The Circus, obviously. That is a classic.
Could we just say original Dumbo?
Yeah, original Dumbo.
Original Dumbo. There's a top... Why have you so many random lists about circus movies?
A lot of people 20. Have a lot of... Cirque du Freak, the Vampire's Assistant.
Nice.
I am going to throw The Young and Prodigious T.S. Spivet in there.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
I really loved that movie. Is someone including Something Wicked This Way Comes on that list as well?
1983. With Jason Robards and Jonathan Pryce.
I know, have we not watched that recently?
Yeah, and someone called Royal Dano, which is
not a clue.
When,
so what are your 5?
Dano becomes a king. My 5.
What are your 5? What are you going with for your 5?
Dumbo, Freaks, Big Fish.
Yeah.
I don't want to put Greatest Showman in. I like it.
I love Greatest Showman though. It's absolutely going in for me.
There's got to be some kind of documentary about Cirque du Soleil. Let's bust.
There is.
There
is one for Cirque du Soleil. There was one. I forget what it was called because I don't think I got to review it. So
and Greatest Show on Earth because that's a famous film, isn't it? Why not?
I'm going with Freaks. I'm going with Greatest Showman. I'm going with Big Top Pee-wee.
Oh, damn.
I'm going with, and I know this is a cheat, I'm going with Batman Returns.
Well, I was going to. You can have
it.
That.
It is a cheat.
It's all right.
And, Batman Forever.
Because still a
circus movie, damn it.
Because of the Graysons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, going with those. Those are my picks. But let's...
I loved Batman Forever.
Oh, I know. Batman Forever is so
loved
good.
it.
But, so, can we talk about that other thing you're just not supposed to say in the entertainment news this week? Which
Beetlejuice.
Is, well, there is that. Also Candyman. But, but yeah, Bob Iger at Disney.
Yeah.
It came out this week, first of all, that Bob Iger is looking to retire finally. He's going to vacate his role.
Oh, really?
In, I think it's 2020 or 2021.
Oh.
Apparently he has kept re-upping his contract, but not at his own assistant. He's been ready to move on, apparently.
But Kathleen Kennedy's not ready to take his job.
That's basically what it is, yeah. But no, the Disney board apparently keep asking if he'll just stay on for the next for the transition to whatever the next thing is. And it seems to, every time this has happened, it's when they seem to have basically had a big investment or they've taken on something
Disney Plus is the next one.
Exactly. So his current, stay is seemingly for this. So that's come about, and he came out with something this week which I think was amazing. He just came out and said, "Yeah, so we were looking at what to do with Disney Plus, what we're now calling Disney Plus, and we saw Fox, and we just thought, boom, we got to have that."
Awesome.
And you just think, I mean, we all thought it, Bob, but you don't say it. You don't actually say it. You literally did this.
I respect him more for saying it.
I know.
Why not?
It's just one of those things, isn't it? It's like going to the restaurant and telling the waiter, "Nah, mate, you can give us what you like. We literally come here for the wontons." We all think it. You just don't say it. But I mean, he literally spent tens and tens and hundreds of billions. How was it? 70 billion, something like that, for Fox. What was the?
I don't know if it was that much. I think it was 50 something.
Oh no, it was like 40 something billion, wasn't it? But he did all that simply so that they could keep earning revenue off The Simpsons in perpetuity. Just imagine that. That is insane. He did literally all of that so that every Christmas he'd have our money when we wanted to watch Die Hard. That's literally why he did it.
Because he wanted Holly Gennaro to be a Disney princess. That's what he wanted.
That's it. He wanted, the Gennaro outfit in the Disney store. And I'll be really honest.
Some Gennaros about Gennaro.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be really honest. After that recent Honeymoon Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode, I have a whole new respect for that outfit.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes, I know. None of us had ever particularly thought it before. And now just, damn.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa Fumero. I mean, really, just... Thank you. Anyway.
Why can't I spell today?
How much money did Disney buy? Can you believe Tiger Woods is a winner again?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I generally feel like we've just gone back to the 90s.
We really have.
It's great.
52.4.
Yes, that's what I thought. Oh, and you know what? We're both right. Yeah, that's the initial one. And then the Comcast thing came in.
Mm-hmm.
So they increased its bid to 71.
What I really love about that is the Fox board knew that they would earn more out of Comcast buying.
Yeah.
But for some reason decided to stick with Disney anyway. I can only assume it's because Bob Iger walked in and said, look, we're not going to mess with anything you built. We just want to earn money off it forever. So give us your Die Hards, your Aliens, your Simpsons.
And I guess your Avatars. And whatever's left.
And while you're at it, we might as well take that pesky X-Men off your hands.
Yeah. Well, these are the franchises that come up for 20th Century Fox. Avatar, The Simpsons, Die Hard, Night at the Museum. That is something I feel like you could just go on and on. Like, you don't have to have Ben Stiller.
No, Night at the Museum can go on forever.
And it could be a TV show.
Also, you can apply the formula to different museums.
Yes.
Like, why can't it be Night at the Toy Museum, Night at the Games Museum, Night at the Wax Museum?
Yeah. And they've already gone international by going to the British one and the third one.
Exactly,
so you could carry on with it. It's good. Star Wars.
They have confirmed this past week that development of the Alien franchise will continue.
Yeah, wasn't it a short film or something?
They did a bunch of short films to tie in with whatever anniversary this one is. Is it 30 or 40 years since Alien?
It's got to be 40.
Disney now on the X-Files. We keep forgetting about that.
Yeah.
Which is just hilarious.
Family Guy.
Yeah, Family Guy, and they also an American Dad, although they don't broadcast it, funnily enough.
Because this is about TBS in America.
TBS, yeah.
Yeah, Ice Age, The Omen. Because I still think you could do... I think The Omen could be a TV show.
Home Alone's getting remade now, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, 100%.
Home Alone is 100% getting remade under Disney's watch.
Who do you get?
Daniel Sloss.
Come on, Jane Wallace.
Come on, Jane Wallace.
Yeah, obviously.
That's the thing. You know, if you did Home Alone now, in this day and age, there would be no reason whatsoever that it wouldn't actually get remade with a young African American boy or young African American girl,
do you know who
or
you
a young
get?
Hispanic girl, or
that girl from Blackish and Little.
Oh,
Marseille.
No, Marseille Martin. Right? No. That can't be allowed to happen. You know why? Because
she's going to do the Dr. Doodle remake.
As I discussed with Kel last week when I reviewed Little, one of the problems with Little, or one of its benefit, or one of its great things, depending on how you see it, is being the producer, she has literally crafted a vehicle around herself and her own native personality, which, thanks to the press junket, we now know is literally that character. If you remade Home Alone with her, she would straight up murder dudes. Yeah.
Is her character a little similar to her character in Blackish?
Her character is exactly like her character in Blackish.
That's great. It's basically a spin-off film for
but with sassy tech millionaire money.
Awesome.
Yeah. I can just imagine. I want to see Marseille Martin now just fishing line around a dude's ankle. He's strung up from the ceiling, slashing throats.
Electrocuting people.
Yeah.
Chinese water torture.
Absolutely brilliant.
Definitely.
What else we got this week? Oh, speaking of Avatar, Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh.
I mean, Michelle Yeoh.
No, Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, I'm all about Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh.
I am all about Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
So,
she's going to be some kind of scientist?
Yeah,
probably.
In the sequels to Avatar, isn't she like Dr. Moon or something?
Dr. Moon?
Oh no, Dr. Karina Moog. That was it.
Because that's a less silly name.
Yeah, that's less silly than Moon, isn't it? Yeah, we all knew that.
Yeah, I'll watch them. Sure, I will.
Fine.
The films, I'll watch them.
Dark Phoenix is going to be the lowest opening, as it's predicted, for any of the X-Men movies.
We don't know it for sure. Let's be optimistic.
This is what they're claiming. So,
I think that could be accurate.
Have you read the GQ profile piece this week on Keanu Reeves?
Gentleman's Quarterly.
Gentleman's Quarterly.
I'm aware that he has said things. I read the title. I've not read the whole article. Yeah,
I'm about halfway through. It's a sizable article.
I know what it's about. Well, it's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Sizable man. Yeah, that's what he says.
One of the things he comes out with, apparently, he loves to drop that in as his response to things.
Amazing.
He does. Apparently, he's a big fan of, whoa.
In the way that Owen Wilson would say, wow.
Yeah.
Like, you know you're a meme.
There's some great stuff in it, though. It is worth the read. Keanu always comes across well in interviews. Like, whenever he's done like a Nerdist episode or something like that, he comes across very well.
Was he on Nerdist?
Oh, he did, for John Wick 2, he did a Nerdist episode.
I'd like him to be on Mark Maron at some point. That would be really good.
Yeah, I feel like that would be interesting.
I'm listening to Christina Hendricks right now.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's proven to be quite good.
Well, one of the things he's come out with is that apparently he was blacklisted from 20th Century Fox. He was blacklisted from working with the studio. And apparently the reason is because he turned down Speed 2. I mean, I'd argue clearly his career suffered for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this about Keanu.
Oh, his bike obsession.
Well, he's still got the motorcycle from Matrix Reloaded.
God, I love him.
The man has not aged.
The man doesn't age, much to my mother's gratitude.
There's a really cool Empire subscriber cover for John Wick 3 that's just been debuted.
Has it?
I don't know if you've seen that.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'll have a look.
The co-creator of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Dan Gore, right, is going to be working with Mindy Kaling to write a screenplay for a movie that is going to star Kaling alongside Priyanka Chopra.
Oh.
And it is going to be about American Indian women and going to a family wedding. It is going to be set and filmed both in the US and in India.
That sounds ace.
That does sound ace.
Yeah.
That's a comedy I really want to see. I think she's got, like, Priyanka Chopra is a very funny woman. And
did you watch that Netflix rom-com?
Oh, isn't it romantic?
She's great at that. I really enjoyed that, actually.
She's got more comedic chops than you think.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't believe it's taken him this long to get into films. Because he's him or what's the other one? There's Dan Dango. Michael Schur.
Sure. Imagine he's over on The Good Place, isn't he? He's done The Good Place, hasn't he?
Yeah, but was he not involved in? Because they've worked together, but I get confused to like which ones they've done separately and which ones they did together.
I know. Dr. Dolittle, you've had this story around.
I've got it right here. We can have a look at it together.
So the story, as far as I understand it, is Dr. Dolittle, starring Robert Downey Jr., in what just looks like a steampunk adaptation of Dr. Dolittle.
With a lot of green screen and a lot of celebrity voices.
We had that famous casting chart, didn't we, where they had the faces of the actors on there. It is. And my boy Kumail's in there, which I'm always makes me happy.
He's playing an ostrich. John Cena's a polar bear. Just warms my very soul.
Tom Holland is a dog named Jip, which just sounds like Tom Holland as a dog, doesn't it?
I like the idea of Craig Robinson as a mouse.
Oh yeah, I just hope he's doing it. Some of his sort of brass. You know, when he does the brass arrogance thing, I hope he's doing that as a mouse.
Yeah, I hope he's Doug Judy from Buck 99.
Yeah, like Doug Judy. Yeah.
Emma Thompson is a parrot. Rami Malek is a gorilla.
Which is interesting casting. I like they seem to have cast Craig Robinson in a small character, and he's got quite the big booming voice.
He's a big man.
Rami Malek's in a large character with his quite quiet voice.
Yeah. So very intense eyes.
The reason we Egyptians go through a lot of eye cream.
Octavia Spencer is a duck called Dab Dab.
Which just sounds lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah. So like on the surface, all this sounds great.
And as you reminded me earlier, this is directed by Stephen Gaghan.
Yeah.
Writer of Traffic, Stephen Gaghan.
Yes.
Okay. This sounds like nothing I would expect to see his name associated with. But it's now going for reshoots. It's been delayed a year, I believe.
Yeah, was it supposed to be this year?
It's supposed to be out by now. I think it was supposed to be out by now, and it's been delayed to 2020.
Delayed the film from April 2019.
Yep, to January 2020.
I'm glad that it wasn't... Yeah, but it didn't come out this month.
Would we have the room for it?
Yeah. You can't have this and Avengers. Like,
no.
RDJ, he's not got the steam for that much press, surely.
Well, I mean, as this report reminds you, reshoots are not that unheard of. Jungle Cruise and Spider-Man Far From Home are going to be having some reshoots soon.
Of course, but the issue is this has brought in other filmmakers.
Yes, so I believe they were Chris McKay from Lego Batman, who's clearly hard at work on that Nightwing script. That's clearly what's happening. And Jonathan Lieberman?
Yeah,
Jonathan Lieberman.
Yeah, who did the Turtles.
Yes.
Did he do both or just one?
I think he's more the second one. The good one.
Was
he did the good one. So
I don't think I saw the second
Let's give him that one. The second one is the good one. Second one
did he do like Earth to Echo or something like that?
I believe he did. I think that's where he got his start.
One of those like E.T. kind of films.
E.T. meets what's it?
Short Circuit.
Batteries not included.
Batteries. Yeah. Absolutely.
Which I really like.
It's not unheard of for this kind of thing. So like, it's not like, oh, this is definitely going to suck, because Rogue One brought in other filmmakers and was really good. At least for me, really good.
Apparently, Warner Brothers are concerned that having Johnny Depp associated with the Fantastic Beasts franchise could backfire and irreparably harm the franchise.
Right, and they found this out now. Like, what?
Yeah.
5 or 6 months after that film came out.
They found this out the other day, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's because Amber Heard released her latest wave of accusations against her ex-husband.
When was that? When did she release that?
It was a couple of days ago, I think.
Right.
And it was like a rebuttal to that lawsuit he'd filed against her for all the things she'd filed against him.
It is a lot of he said, she said right now, isn't it?
I mean, it's literally all he said, she said. And the thing is that every time she does it, she takes a mountain of evidence with her.
What is this new film he's got coming out? The Professor.
I have no idea.
A trailer dropped for the other day, and I don't know what it's about. Let's all find out together, kids. Let's have a look.
In the meanwhile, whilst you're looking that up, let me just talk about, because you reminded me this earlier, Amy Jump, Ben Wheatley's both professional and personal partner, is going to write the sequel to Tomb Raider. But the sequel to the reboot that starred Alicia Vikander. Alicia Vikander is confirmed to be returning. I mean, is Kristen Scott Thomas returning? That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Because that movie obviously ended in such a way that she's required to return.
Well, someone who's not seen it.
Yeah.
What? She's in it.
She's in it.
Right.
She's a sort of stepmother figure. Twist. She's kind of the stepmother figure to Lara Croft.
Oh, right. I don't need to watch it now. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I know. I ruined it for you. It was a big reveal at the end.
If I was going to watch it, I'd have seen it by now.
Wait, she knows this creepy woman in the boardroom who keeps holding her hand?
Right. You know, I literally didn't know she was going to be in it. It's on Netflix. I probably will watch it. I'll forget
It's
that
not
information.
bad. You know what I've heard? For that month until Rampage came out, it was the best movie ever based on a video game.
Yeah, the Rampage came out.
Then Rampage, took the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
want a Rampage too. I want Rampage here.
I've just remembered what this is. The Professor.
So a college professor lives his life with reckless abandon after being diagnosed with terminal illness. That sounds
based
like
on
a lot of things.
It's based on like a true story or a novel or something. This actually, I think it might actually have happened. It was based on an article about some guy who did this. He found out he was dying, he said F it, and just decided to do whatever he wanted. And looking forward to that.
We shall have to watch the trailer downstairs.
We shall.
Well, will it even come out? Because recently he's been making films and they've not been seen the light of day. Like you remember that City of Lies? The
Big Ian Tupac murder movie, yeah. Right, here's one for you. The Charlie's Angels movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
Directed by Elizabeth Banks.
Yes.
It's a sequel.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a legacy sequel, though, so it's actually a rebootquel that also serves
not a sidequel or a paralleloquel.
Not a paralleloquel, not a sidequel. It is basically going to be, they are just the next crop of angels.
That makes sense.
Right, so all the angels we've seen all exist now within the same continuity, and yeah.
So the Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore.
That was just what
came after.
The 70s ones and the ones that were on TV happened.
Why not? That makes sense.
Well, yeah, because they never define these things as taking place in other realities or anything.
Yeah.
And also, if this counts, then technically I can have a MacGyver crossover at some point. But that's all I really want. And also, I really, really can't wait for Drew Barrymore to clearly cameo in this. Because why else would you say that unless you were going to jump street this bitch?
Absolutely. I think I don't know if Cameron Diaz would come back.
I don't think Cameron Diaz would. I don't think Lucy Liu would, but I think Drew Barrymore would.
I think Drew Barrymore's riding on a pretty good wave recently with the whole Santa Clarita. I feel like she's got a new fan base.
Yes, I feel like she's found a sort of because this tends to happen with a lot of actors. Is as they age, they sort of go away for a little while, come back, and then wind up with a whole new fan base specific to that age range that they themselves are now in.
Yeah, it's like, I've discovered this person.
Good example, Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland once famously said that the reason he took 24 was they just are not writing parts for men in their mid to late 30s at the minute. They're either mid to late 20s or mid to late 40s. Mid to late 30s, there's nothing.
There's nothing there, yeah.
Yes. And then this came along, did it. And he wound up with a whole other fan base, which, let's be honest, was people like me who are sociopaths or right-wing Republicans. And then he went away again, came back, and now he has middle-aged Democrats. So, you know...
And do you know how he did that? By playing a middle-aged Democrat.
I know, imagine that. Wasn't he like a centrist Republican?
What, in real life or in Designated Survivor?
In Designated Survivor. He's sort of like a left-leaning Republican, isn't he?
I think so, yeah, because you try to get as many people to watch the show as possible.
Yeah.
That's how you do that.
And then you get Michael J. Fox when all else fails.
Yeah, because nobody dislikes Michael J. Fox.
Nobody could dislike that. Eric Stoltz dislikes Michael J. Fox. But that's really it.
Mask. He doesn't like him.
Yeah, got a Mask doesn't have time for you. That's all you. Rocky Dennis hates your guts. That's other than that, you got the world, pal.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, The Professor. We'll watch a trailer for it later. See what it's like.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
In the meanwhile, I don't know if I got to talk to Kelly about this last week. Apparently, Zac Efron. This happened, and I didn't know.
Is this Marvel news?
No.
Carry on.
I don't know when this happened, but I didn't know about it, and I just discovered it, and I want to share it with the world. Zac Efron is the voice of Fred in the animated, cinematic, theatrically released Scooby-Doo movie.
What?
Yes.
I'm sorry, say all that information again.
I'm sorry, would you like me to tell you that again? Because you look as shocked as I was when I heard it the other day for the first time. Yes, that's animated Scooby-Doo reboot that's hitting cinemas in like May next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zac Efron's Fred.
Right.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I know, right? Well, have you heard the full cast?
Why can't that be live action?
I have no idea.
I think I know some of them. Is Will Forte in it?
Will Forte is...
Tracy Morgan.
Ken Jeong.
Who is Will Forte playing Shaggy?
I believe Will Forte is Shaggy, yes. Frank Welker is Scooby, because stick with a classic.
Oh, yeah, why not?
And is it Gina Rodriguez as...
Is she Velma?
I believe she is, because I was saying to Kelly last week, there has been a weird shift. I don't know when it got decided, but there is a weird shift now that Velma is Hispanic. Which, okay.
All right.
I mean, I get
that cover of GQ. Sorry, I've
it's
got
a
back
good
to
cover,
the
isn't
Keanu
it?
thing.
That one, I get why you do it one-off, but it seems weird that they're sticking with it. It's like Iris in The Flash is now just African-American.
It just happened.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, I was
Nick
just gonna
Fury, good
say,
example. It's like no one particularly cares. It's just, okay.
We've done it now.
You just decided.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Why not?
So, yeah, Zac Efron in Scooby-Doo.
All right, yeah.
That was it. The title. Have you heard the title?
I have not. Tell it me right now.
Scoob. Right, Gina Rodriguez is Velma, Amanda Seyfried is Daphne.
Wow.
I'm in. I'm absolutely in. But, Ken Jeong, by the way, is going to be Dino Mutt the Dog Wonder.
Dino Mutt?
Yes, Dino Mutt the Dog Wonder.
Is that classic Scoob, or is that a new...
I believe he's a fictional character within the world of. Yeah, like a TV character. But, there you go. Apparently Zac Efron only got announced on the 23rd or 22nd of March. So it did happen recently.
Yeah, but that's kind of passes by, isn't it?
But, I'm sorry, Zac Efron, you get Zephron as Fred. You get my money, man.
God. I wish that was, in the way that I wish that the new animated Addams Family was live action, I wish that was live action.
I know. Oh, do you know, I'm a big fan of those, the first movie, the first James Gunn movie.
Oh, yeah, James Gunn.
But just for that line, I've been touring with my book, Fred on Fred, The Many Faces of Fred. How perfectly cast was Freddie Prinze Jr. at that time, you know?
And Tracy Morgan is going to be Captain Caveman.
Yes, that is exactly right. I know. We are spoiled, aren't we? I don't know about you, but I can't top that this week, to be honest.
Do you think we're going to do like an animated Flintstones film at some point?
I think Jetsons will happen first because they've been trying to get it done for decades, haven't they? They've been trying to bring the Jetsons back for too long.
It would make sense.
Well, they were trying that as live action. And because, if you remember, a certain genius got hired as its creative consultant.
Zack Snyder.
No, Kanye.
He is a creative genius.
Yeah. Kanye got hired by Robert Rodriguez to design the Jetsons.
Wow.
And that nearly happened, and we nearly let it happen. So,
as a society, we just sat by.
We sat by and did nothing. This is why we can't have nice things. The end.
Yeah.
And then I think that'll go animated eventually. I think there will be a whole. They want to turn Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera back into full-blown cinematic franchises. Because don't forget, that was an interconnected universe way back when.
Yeah. So we might as well just do it again, but with more money and big names.
You ever see Flight of the Spruce Goose?
Yeah.
Flight of the Spruce Moose, I think it was.
Yeah.
The Hanna-Barbera animated one where they all got on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where the Simpsons thing comes from, where he's got the plane, where he's Howard Hughes.
We'll take the Spruce Moose.
Happen. I said happen.
That's one of my favourite ever voices.
Me too. It's incredible. It's such a good episode, that. Gambler. It's a Gambler episode.
Oh, God, yeah. By the way, there was a Twitter thread this week by someone who'd forgotten that the Stampy the Elephant episode exists.
Right.
And decided to, as a Twitter thread, go through the entirety of that episode to point out how problematic it is. And... yeah, I'll be honest, most of us never forgot that exists.
Hot take.
That existed, yeah.
It's like those people that are letting us know about Friends.
Yeah, did you know there's no black people in Friends?
Yeah. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, we were aware. That was just network TV in the early 90s.
Apart from, Ross and Joey's girlfriend.
Yeah, that one time. But to be fair, that was 8 years in.
Yeah, but that is like season 9 and season 10.
Yeah.
And she is amazing and lovely. And hosts whose lines anyway.
Yeah, she's the perfect Lana Kane.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, it's why I've always been attracted to Lana Kane.
Have you got any more pieces of news?
No, I am all out, to be honest.
I've got some minor few pieces of news that we could maybe just do.
Sure, yeah. Well, what do you got to finish us off?
Right, I really love this. So, Lin-Manuel Miranda, writer of Hamilton. So his first musical was not Hamilton.
No.
It was something called In the Heights.
I've heard of the musical. I don't know anything about it other than it was it Latin American?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's as is Lin-Manuel Miranda. Yeah. It's basically about a guy that lives in New York, so Latino American, and just about his neighborhood. Essentially, and he did really well on Broadway. It won loads of Tonys.
I can't imagine that being popular at all. No.
Well, yeah, but this is before he was the world that we all know. This is the years before Hamilton.
Yeah, with his level of ability, though, you just know that'd have been awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's supposed to be incredible. I've heard some of the songs from it; they are really good. But they're finally making it into a film with him producing it, and John Chu is going to direct it.
John Chu.
John M. Chu.
John M. Chu of Crazy Rich Asians fame.
Yes, I believe it's going to be his next film. And Anthony Ramos from Hamilton is going to be like the lead guy. And Jimmy Smits is going to be in it, because that's who you get.
I'm a big fan of Anthony Ramos and Corey Hawkins.
Yes.
Of course, was Dre, wasn't he?
Dre, yeah. So I feel like that's going to be awesome. It's getting a really ace, Latino cast.
Do you think it's possible, though, that they went to and said, look, here is all the money in the world. Please, please let us do the Hamilton film. And he said, all right, I'll tell you what, I might consider it if you take these off our hands first.
Too many people are still going to see it.
Yeah.
That film is not going to be made for at least 10 years.
Well, I mean, we're only now seeing little murmurs of the Wicked.
The Wicked one, yeah. Well, that's supposed to be Christmas this year, wasn't it? I was going to push back again.
Believe it, right? It's like Bad Boys 3, I believe.
It is, yeah. There's going to be a Last of the Mohicans TV series from Kerry Fukunaga. Yeah.
You scary fucking have you?
Exactly. See, I can't say it. I'm swearing.
By the way, we're now on podcast extras, which means we can curse. Can I tell you my favourite thing in the Hellboy movie?
All right. Yeah.
Right. There's a fight between Hellboy and the Scouse Pigman.
Steve Graham.
Who has the voice of Steve Graham. And in the middle of the fight, he just picks something up and he goes, fuck off, and just clocks him across the face with it.
I imagine it just being Stephen Graham from This Is England.
Yeah, it
just
really
like
is.
A skinhead.
It's that fuck off. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. And last piece of news, which is not film related, but I think is awesome. So I've not watched Titans.
Yeah.
Have you watched Titans?
I have. We actually talked about this. This broke just before.
Oh, so you spoke about it last week.
We did speak about it, but I want to hear your take on it. Go on.
Yeah. So down.
Yeah. So they cast Bruce Wayne for Titans.
Yeah.
And he is Sir Jorah Mormont.
Yeah. He's Ian of Glen.
Who's 58 years old, I didn't realise.
Yeah, he is.
And I always forget he's Scottish. But
yeah.
Isn't it amazing how I forget that?
Yeah, it's odd. That is ace. I am so in for that.
I have all the time in the world for that.
That is the old Bruce Wayne, but I want.
Yeah, he looks like a dude who could kill you. And that's kind of what I want.
But I feel like we've already, through watching Game of Thrones, we've already seen his training. So we've seen him go off. And
no grayscale for him anymore.
Yeah.
But
so that is great news. I will watch Titans just for that.
Before we go, then, I just want to say, per your recommendation, in fact, just real quickly, per our mutual friend Meekin's recommendation, I finally watched What We Do in the Shadows, the American spin-off TV series.
I've not watched it yet. So I will. Is it great?
It's tremendous. It is of the exact quality, style, and tone of the movie. It's even got the song from the movie as its theme song.
Ace.
Beanie Feldman is quite a big part of it, which I didn't realise.
Joan Hill's sister.
Yeah. And Matt Berry, who I'm over the moon to see, is tremendous in it.
I was so happy when he was announced for it.
Yeah.
The fact that Kyvan Novak is like the lead in an American show.
Yes.
What a world.
It is weird, though. The three leads are Kyvan Novak, Matt Berry, and an actress whose name I forget, but they are all British comedians.
Yeah.
And it's just tremendous.
It just
really works. Yeah.
I think I will watch that today. I've not been putting it off, but yeah, I've just been distracted by other things.
And per your recommendation, meanwhile, I watched the first 3 episodes of the second series of Barry, starring our boy, Mr. Bill Hader. And
it's just as good as the first season.
So great. Just so great. Honestly, he's brilliant in it. Yeah. But, that's it for me then this week.
Me too.
Okay then, in which case, here it is. Your moment of Cage.
The first time I met a personal idol, I had seen Saturday Night Fever. I think I was still in elementary school. I saw the picture, and like I felt with Bruce Lee when I saw Enter the Dragon, when I saw Travolta dance in that movie, I left electrified, and I just wanted, I was all during the disco craze, and I kind of wanted to be him, and I was going to Horace Mann Elementary School in Beverly Hills, and there was a tropical fish store across the street, and I loved aquariums and fish, and I always remember that image of John with the 2 paint cans walking down the street, and I got 2 buckets of water so I could get my fish home, and I had a wife beater t-shirt on, and there was a red light. I was crossing the street. Here comes John Travolta in a 250 SL Mercedes Benz, the little one, in a blue tracksuit with a white stripe. In my head, I'm him. I'm Tony from Saturday Night Fever, and then there's John. And he's staring at me, and I'm staring at him, and there was like eye contact, eye contact, eye contact, and then I walked across the street. And then later we were in face-off, so it's kind of trippy.